All right, 8th grade students, I'm going to apologize in advance because the Unit 6 Part 1 video is going to be very long because there's 5 pages of notes to cover. But I'm going to tell you in advance, anything you see on here that you already know how to do, because again, it's a review, feel free to just skip forward in the video. But you do have to fill out your note page. Your note pages have to be done. If you see stuff you already understand, you want to skip over it, go for it. So there's going to be a lot of review of fraction operations in here, and then we're going to bring into account stuff that you might not have seen before. So first thing is adding and subtracting fractions, or adding and subtracting like fractions. So it says to find the sum or difference. So when we have like fractions, that means they have a common denominator already, which makes our life easy because we don't have to do that initial work. So for number 1, you have negative 17 over 50 plus 19 over 50. Since they have a common denominator, I can just add them together and put them over that denominator. Negative 17 plus 19 is 2, so I have 2 over 50, which I have to reduce to 1 over 25, but then I'm done there. Coming down to number 3, we have a mixed number, but we still have a common denominator. So I'm going to rewrite 4/5. I'm going to change subtraction to addition and change that negative to a positive, so I'm just going to leave it positive. But now I need to turn this mixed number into an improper fraction. So to do that, I do 5 times 3, which is 15, plus 4, which is 19, so I have 19 over 5. Now, since I already have a common denominator, I can just add those together. 4 plus 19 is 23 over 5. And then when I turn that back into a mixed number, I'm going to get 4 and 3 this. So I'm done there. Number 5, I still have a common denominator, but now I have some x's built in here, which can make it a little bit confusing. I'm going to start by rewriting this as addition. So I'm going to have plus negative 41x over 45. So now I'm just adding 2 negatives together. So I'll have negative 4x plus negative 41x. And since we already have a common denominator of 45, I can put that over 45. Now when I add those together, I get negative 45x over 45. The 45s can cancel each other out, so I'm just left with negative x as my final answer. As you can see, I left 2, 4, and 6 for you guys to work. I'm going to leave this word problem for you guys to work as well. If you flip over to the back side of that page, now we're going to look at adding and subtracting unlike fractions. Unlike fractions meaning they don't have a common denominator. So the first thing we need to do is figure out what their least common denominator is going to be. I'm going to leave 1 for you guys. I'm going to do number 2. First thing I need to do is figure out what my LCD is. And in this case, that's going to be 36. Okay, if you need help figuring out how to find LCDs, come ask me. So now I'm going to rewrite these with the common denominator. So I know I need both of these to be something over 36. So 4 times 9 is 36, so 3 times 9 is 27. So I have negative 27 over 36. And then I have minus a negative, which I know is plus a positive. 18 times 2 is 36. 5 times 2 is 10. So I have negative 27 plus 10 over 36. I'm adding signs, or adding numbers with opposite signs. So big minus little, 27 minus 10 is 17. The bigger number is negative, so negative 17 over 36 would be my final answer there. Again, I'll leave number 1 for you guys to try. For adding and subtracting unlike mixed numbers, the first thing I want to do is turn these into improper fractions. So 4 times 1 plus 3 is going to be 7 over 4. 14 times 4 plus 3 is going to be 59 over 14. Next thing, I need a common denominator. So my common denominator is going to be 28 for these. 4 times 7 is 28. 7 times 7 is 49. I'm going to rewrite this as addition, so plus a negative. 14 times 2 is 28. 59 times 2 is 118. So now I have a common denominator. I'm going to do 49 plus negative 118 over 28. 49 and negative 118 have opposite signs, so I'm going to do 118 minus 49, which is going to give me 69, and then it's going to be negative because the bigger number is negative. So negative 69 over 28. Turn that back into a mixed number. I'm going to get negative 2 and 13 over 28. Again, if you're having any trouble following this along, just ask me during class. Number 2, I'm going to leave for you guys there. Looking at the bottom of this page, now we're simplifying. We have variables involved, but again, we're still working with expressions that don't have common denominators. So if you look at, I'm going to leave number 1 for you guys. I'm going to do number 2. I have 8x and 3x, so my least common denominator is going to be 24x. So I need to rewrite these over 24x. So 8x times 3 is 24x. So 4 times 3 is 12. 3x times 8 is going to give me 24x. So 5 times 8 is going to be 40. Now that I have a common denominator, I can add those. So it'll be 12 plus 40 over 24x. So that's going to give me 52 over 24x. And since I have a variable at the bottom, I'm not going to make it a mixed number. I'm just going to reduce. So I can divide both of those by 4. I'll get 13 over 6x, and that's as far as I'll go. Again, cannot make that a mixed number because I have a variable at the bottom. So anything I left blank, you need to fill out. You also need to go ahead and do this word problem as well. Looking at the next page, we are multiplying fractions now. Okay. Remember, multiplying fractions is pretty straightforward, because all we're going to do is numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So if you look at number 1, I have a negative times a negative, so I know it's going to wind up positive. What I'm going to do here is write 20 times 3 on top, and then 33 times 11 on the bottom. The reason why I haven't multiplied them yet is I'm going to see if there's anything I can reduce. So I know 3 and 33 can both be divided by 3. So I can cross that out and make that a 1, and cross that out and make it 11. So now I'm just multiplying smaller numbers. So 20 times 1 is 20, 11 times 11 is 121, and I'm done there, and I know it's positive. Number 2, I'm going to leave for you guys. Remember, I have 51. That means 51 over 1. Going to multiply. Next up, we have multiplying mixed numbers. I'm going to leave 1 for you guys. I'm going to show you number 2 because I think that's a little bit harder. Okay. So first thing I want to do is turn these mixed numbers into improper fractions. So for the first one, I'm going to do 9 times 5 plus 1, which is 46. Again, 9 times 5 plus 1 is 46 over 9. I still have a negative there. Then 13 times 2 plus 4 is 30 over 13. Now I'm going to write negative 46 times 30 over 9 times 13. And I'm going to see if there's anything I can reduce before I start. So not much I can do, but 30 and 9 can both be divided by 3. So 30 becomes 10, 9 becomes 3, and now I can multiply. Negative 46 times 10 is negative 460. Plus 3 times 13 is going to be 39. Then if I want to turn that into a mixed number, 39 is going to go in 460 11 times. It's going to be left with 31 over 39. And that's all still mixed. Alright, so number 1 is for you to do. Coming down to simplifying expressions. So we're multiplying here, but we have variables involved. So if you look at number 1, again, I'm going to start by writing 3y times y to the 5th over 4 times 9. Again, I'm looking for anything I can reduce before I worry about multiplying. So 3 and 9 can both be divided by 3, so that becomes a 1. This becomes a 3. So now I'm doing y times y to the 5th, which is going to give me y to the 6th. That's 6 to the 1. And I'm doing 4 times 3, which is 12, and I'm done there. Alright, looking at, I'm going to let you guys do 2 and 3. I'm going to come down and do number 4. So first off, I have a negative times a positive, so I need to remember that my final answer is going to be negative. Okay, but I'm going to write 4b squared times 7b squared over 21 times 16, and I'm looking to reduce. 4 and 16 can both be divided by 4, so that's going to be a 1, that's going to be a 4. 7 and 21 can both be divided by 7, so that's going to be a 1, that's going to be a 3. So on the top, I have b squared times b to the third, so that's going to give me b to the fifth. And then on the bottom, I have 3 times 4, which is 12. So negative b to the fifth over 12 would be my final answer there. Again, you guys try 2 and 3. Let me know if you need help. In the next section, it says to evaluate the following expressions. We need to make sure that we are being careful with our order of operations. So for number 1, it's all multiplication, so I'll let you guys see that one. Number 2 is a little bit trickier because we have addition and multiplication. According to order of operations, we have to multiply first. So I need to worry about doing the 5 times negative 3 over 6 times 20 first. Again, I'm looking to reduce. So 5 becomes 1, 20 becomes 4, 3 becomes 1, 6 becomes 2. So I have 3 plus, and then when I work this out, I get negative 1 over 8. Now to add these, I need a common denominator. Which if you ever have a whole number, that means your common denominator is going to be the other denominator. So 3 becomes 24 over 8 plus negative 1 over 8. And then when I add those, I'm going to get 23 over 8. Now if I turn that into a mixed number, that's going to be 2 and 7 8. Alright, I'll let you guys try one. Again, that's just all multiplication. So numerator times numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator times denominator. Just keep track of the negatives. The word problem I'll leave to you as well. Okay. And then the last thing we need to talk about is dividing fractions. So when we're dividing fractions, we have to remember that we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So if I have a fraction like 3 over 4, its reciprocal would just be 4 over 3. If I have something like 1 over 6, the reciprocal would just be 6. Or if I have a whole number like 4, the reciprocal would be 1 over 4. Negatives apply too, so I don't get rid of the negative if I do a reciprocal, the negative stays. So looking at these, it says state the reciprocal of the number. So negative 24 over 7 would be negative 7 over 24. So again, I just flip it, but the negative stays. 264, the reciprocal would be 1 over 264. The last one, 3.45, is difficult. Okay, that's 345 over 100. If my decimal is in the hundredths place. So the reciprocal of that will be 100 over 345. So if you look, it says dividing fractions and mixed numbers. So for number 1, I'm going to write 48 over 1. Okay? And then I'm multiplying by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply by negative 5 over 4. So now again, I want to write this 48 times negative 5 over 1 times 4, so I can reduce first. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, 48 divided by 4 is 12. So that's 12 times negative 5, which is negative 60, and that's over 1, so I don't have to write. Number 2. So I'm going to start by rewriting the first one, negative 11 over 24. Division becomes multiplication. I flip the second one. Now I want to write it out as multiplication, so I can simplify first. 10 and 24 can both be divided by 2, so that's 5 and 12. So negative 11 times 5 is negative 55. 12 times 7 is going to give me 84. And I cannot write that. I'll let you guys try number 3. Make sure you turn that mixed number into an improper fraction. All right, we are finally on the last page. Again, I apologize for how long this video has been. So now we're dividing algebraic fractions, meaning we just have variables involved. So I'm going to start by rewriting the first one. So keep the first one the same, keep change flip, change division and multiplication, flip the section. Okay. Now I'm going to write it out like this and simplify it if I can. I have an x on the top and an x on the bottom. Those can cancel each other out. So I'm just left with 5 halves. Or if I want to make that a mixed number, 2. I'll let you guys do 2. I'm going to skip over to get this thing to work. I'm going to skip over number 3. Again, keep change flip, keep the first one the same. Change division to multiplication, flip the second one. Now I want to write everything out together. Okay, and let's cancel out things that you cancel out. This A cancels out this A, B cancels out B, C cancels out C. 9 and 3 can both be divided by 3, so this becomes a 3, this becomes a 1. So 5 times 3 is 15 over 2, or as a mixed number, that's 7. Okay, make sure you fill in number 2. Then we have evaluating expressions again. Here we have to be careful with order of operations. So on number 1, if you look, I have subtraction, but it's inside parentheses, so I do the subtraction first. Number 2, I have subtraction, but it's not in parentheses, so I do the division first. Okay, so I'll leave number 1 for you guys. Make sure you subtract first and then do division. Over here on number 2, first thing I want to do is turn these into improper fractions. So 17 times 5 plus 1 is 86 over 17. Divided by 34 times 1 plus 9 is 43 over 34. It's minus 19 over 30. So I do division first, so that's keep, change, flip, and then I'll subtract the second. If you want to just kind of connect these, you can see what you can cancel out. So 17 is half of 34, so 17 can become a 1, 34 can become 2. Then 43 is half of 86, so 48 can become 1, 86 can become 2. So if I multiply, I have 4 over 1, and then I still need to subtract 19 over 30. So I need a common denominator of 30, which means this is going to become 120 over 30 minus 19 over 30. And when I do that math, I wind up with 101 over 30, or as a mixed number, 73 and 21 over 30. Alright, you guys try number 1, and then these review problems at the bottom. Again, I apologize, this was a really long video. Ask me any questions you have.